Due south of Wadeye is a bit of country called Kutchil, a wide expanse of black soil plains. By now the D-Max and the MUX are truly covered in coatings of black mud and red dust. Considering the sheer amount of repairs we've done on the boat trailer, they've held up amazingly well. Fishing for barra out here is completely different from saltwater fishing. The fish are essentially the same, although they take on the color of the water, with their fins turning a ruddy brown. Here, the fishing is all about casting into nooks and crannies in the foliage, and hoping against hope that if you do get one on the line, it doesn't snag you up straight away by diving down deep into the mess at the bottom of these waterholes. This is one of the bigger billabongs in the area, but finding a place to fish from was still a nightmare. We hoped its wildness would pay off.
Australia's Outback is a formidable place. It's a pretty unforgiving landscape for pretty much every species that calls this place home. And I'm always intrigued at how the animals that live here have adapted perfectly to this place. The Barramundi are a great example. When these billabongs fill up during the wet, the Barramundi come in here to feed, but all too often they get trapped when the waters drop down. But they're okay with that because these fish can live in really low oxygen water and they can eat just about anything that drops into that water. And they actually limit their own population growth by not having any females in the population whatsoever until the Barramundi are about 5 years old or over about 65 centimeters. By doing that, by having no females that are actually breeders, you can limit these populations so that they don't have too many other fish to compete with for what little amount of food is left in these billabongs when they dry out.
We were mainly using poppers and green and yellow shallow divers here. It isn't all barramundi swimming in these waters though. There were a few tarpon here as well, pretty close relatives to the barra structurally and behaviorally.
These guys, you normally see them off of reefs and stuff up here, but they come into the freshwater as well. See those eyes, they're night hunters as well. At night you see these guys, their eyes are just glowing bright yellow in the water. But they're good fighting fish and they get just as big as barramundi. Just not quite the same prize out here. But we'll throw this guy back. Because this is croc country, I'm not gonna go and dangle him in the water. We're just gonna throw him straight back out there.
Every time you get a hit out here, you never know if it's something small or a horse at first. The adrenaline hits either way.
All right. Another tarpon. Another one of these billabongs. These guys, they give a good little fight. Don't weigh quite as much as barramundi, but still beautiful little fish. A lot of spunk in him. You can see even though he's out of the water, he's still got a lot of kick on him.
There's something really special about fishing for barra that's hard to describe. When one of them hits, the way they dance for their life make them a challenge that I don't think you ever become jaded about.
I reckon he's got the trebles into something. Like it's not moving at all. Look at that. That's pretty, that's one of the saddest things I've done today. Pulled in an empty lure that had a big barra on it a second ago. Well, hopefully the barra gods owe me one now.
I've learned not to worry too much on the days without many fish. A day before, I've been pulling them in by the dozen out on the ocean in my boat, and the universe has a way of balancing everything out.
When I pack for an Outback adventure, there's not many things that I get to use every single day of my trip. The D-Max is obviously one of them, but another are my GME UHF radios. I've got the XRS Connect in the cab, and that's perfect for staying in touch when I'm in convoy, trying to pass road trains on the road. If you can communicate with these guys, you can get around them instead of spending hours behind them. And the handheld units are also awesome out here. They're great if we're dropping the boat in somewhere tricky or trying to navigate a full drive situation that needs an extra pair of eyes on the outside of the vehicle. These things are also great just for handing out to my mates out here. Not everybody's got these things. I can stay in touch with everybody this way. At the end of the day though, If you don't have UHF, you're not going to experience this place the way you should. You're not going to enjoy it the way you should. For me, they're an absolute touring essential.